Today, we're going to talk about the Organon still. It's a never-ending treasure chest of homeopathic knowledge. So why not, do a lot of videos on it? Basically, today we're going to look at the homeopathic proving part. If you don't know, homeopathic provings are like the experiments where they discover new remedies by giving the remedies to healthy people, and they write down the symptoms. And those are the symptoms you have to match with with real patients, right? That's basically what homeopathy is matching those two things, the symptom picture from the proving to the patient's symptom picture. Picture means list of symptoms, right? Nothing extraordinary. So, it's also basically just highlighting the basic principles of homeopathy, which is what the Organon is about. Let's see. So we are in aphorism 143. If we have thus tested on the healthy individual a considerable number of simple medicines and carefully and faithfully registered all the disease elements and symptoms they are capable of developing as artificial disease producers, then only we have a true materia medica, a collection of real, pure, reliable modes of action of simple medicinal substances, a volume of the book of nature, wherein is recorded a considerable array of the particular changes of the health and symptoms, ascertained to belong to each of the powerful medicines. So this is what I was talking about. Hahnemann is describing the process of conducting provings. That's when they record the symptoms of each homeopathic remedy. And we go on to 144 to highlight homeopathic basic principles. 144 is very appropriate. From such a materia medica, everything that is conjectural, all that is mere assertion and imaginary, should be strictly excluded. Everything should be the pure language of nature, carefully and honestly interrogated. So, what does that mean? It means that you have to be wary of people who come up with new homeopathic remedies and who do not follow the proving process very, very strictly and inject their own imagination or assertions or conjectures, and also practice homeopathy based on those. And now you might ask yourself, why do we have to be wary of that? Why would anyone do that? The truth is, the reality is, if you're not a homeopath, if you don't know much about it, 80% of homeopaths work like this nowadays. So homeopathy has been degraded. The scientific nature of homeopathy has been degraded. And now most of the homeopaths practice like this. They conjecture, if the patient wants to be free, then we give him the remedy made from the eagle or whatever. I'm just giving you a stupid example. There are people who practice like that. Anything like that should be excluded. If you're looking for a homeopath, you need to find a homeopath who practices based on this. Okay. Hahnemann didn't write that, he didn't say, feel free to extrapolate on this. Feel free to take this in any direction. Feel free to let your imagination run wild. Feel free to revolutionize homeopathy every 2 weeks, which is what many of them do. No, he said you have to be like a Nazi. You have to be very strict. You have to pay extra attention to exclude everything that might be a speculation. Okay, that's what he said. And most of the homeopathic community is going against that. Most of the homeopathic community is just making up all kinds of nonsense. And then you might ask, how is that allowed? Why does that happen? It happens because it sounds good. They get patients or students if it's a teacher. They get a lot of patients, so they get a lot of money. So one is money. Also, you might ask yourself, if they do that and don't have any results, how do they get patients? Don't the homeopaths with the best results come out on top? Don't the patients naturally gravitate towards the homeopaths who practice effectively? Well, the answer is no. Patients are just going to make a decision based on how they feel inside. Or most people, most human beings nowadays, make a decision based on how does this person what kind of emotions does this person make me feel when he's talking? That is the only that is the only factor that they include in their decision-making process. Nothing else. Nothing else. I'm sorry to be so negative, I don't want to be mean to people, but that is the reality, and that's how this world works right now. That's how politicians can get away with this whole fake mafia world of politics. That's how all the fake scientists get away with everything. That's basically just manipulating the masses based on emotions for financial gain or reputation or power or whatever. Okay. So that was 143, 144. So let's move on. Let's move on. It's the same chapter. Again, it's still the provings chapter. 145. Of a truth, it is only by a very considerable store of medicines accurately known in respect of their pure modes of action in altering the health of man that we can be placed in position to discover a homeopathic remedy. It's talking about provings. This is how you conduct provings. A suitable artificial morphic analog for each of the infinitely numerous morbid states in nature for every malady in the world. You have to match the symptom picture of the remedy to the symptom picture of the patient. In the meantime, even now, thanks to the truthful character of the symptoms and to the abundance of disease elements, which every one of the powerful medicinal substances has already shown its action on the healthy body, again explaining provings and the basic mechanism of homeopathy. At first, about 40 years ago, I was the only person who made the provings of the pure powders of medicines the most important of his occupations. Since then, I have been assisted in this by some young men who instituted experiments on themselves and whose observations I have critically revised. Following these, some genuine work of this kind was done by a few others, but what shall we not? But what shall we not be able to effect in the way of curing in the whole extent of the infinitely large domain of disease, that when numbers of accurate, trustworthy observers shall have rendered their services in enriching this, the only true materia medica, by careful experiments on themselves, the healing art will then come near the mathematical sciences in certainty. Guys, what's the implication of this sentence? What Hahnemann intended was for homeopathy to become a science, a mathematical precision, a mathematically precise science. He didn't say, I hope it's going to be meshed into the New Age movement and people are going to be using astrology and whatever and chakras and esoteric speculation. I hope that it's going to go in that direction. No. He said, I want it to become a mathematical science. So all these people who are taking homeopathy in the direction of esoteric New Age bullshit, like Steve Falconer, Bear Lando, from the Truth community, but also all the people in the regular homeopathic community who are doing that. College of Practical Homeopathy, a lot of the English homeopaths, Francis Troy Hertz, whatever. I mean, I could just name so many names. You're not taking it in the direction of sciences. You're taking it in another direction. You are not following homeopathy, right? No, sorry. You're not taking homeopathy in the direction Hahnemann intended it to be taken, right? So don't call yourself classical homeopaths. I wouldn't advise you to call yourselves homeopaths because classical homeopathy is a euphemism. This term was coined, of course, by George Vithulkas, but it's a euphemism. Actually, if you're not following the Organon or Hahnemann, you're not a homeopath, in my opinion. So you should call it something else, okay? Hahnemann talks about this in the Organon numerous times. People who don't follow these principles are not homeopaths, are not doing homeopathy. Okay, and if you don't agree with me, then come on my channel and let's debate, have a friendly debate. There was someone commenting on one of my videos on YouTube and trying to argue with me there. I'm not going to argue in the comments, okay? You have to come on this channel on camera and have a debate. It doesn't have to be live. We can record it if you don't agree with me. I'm not going to respond to every nonsense in the comments. So come on the channel. And I told that guy too who was commenting, come on my channel. Let's debate about this. As I expected, I'm getting attacks for talking about this. The guy was saying, I don't remember what the guy was saying. He was like, Hahnemann repeated the remedies, so you're dumb because you wait for the effect a long time. And I don't remember what else he said. So Hahnemann was using low potencies. You can repeat those. If you're using high potencies, then you shouldn't repeat them. Yeah, so that's my answer. I'm not sure what else he said there, but it doesn't matter. If you're also listening, then then, you're running away. Why are you running away? I don't know. You were very aggressive with your comment, like you were implying that I was committing egregious violations of something. So, yeah, um, what gives? Okay, so that's it for today, and I'll be back with more Organon in the next video. Take care.